The Seahawks finished the 2022 season at 9-8, surprising everybody. They were the most surprising team of 2022. And when you talk about 2023, you got to ask, did they get better or worse? And the most surprising team of 2022 definitely got better in this offseason. Everything starts and ends with the quarterback. They were able to re-sign Geno Smith, which was the biggest move that they made this offseason, and he deserved it after what he did last year for this team and being able to get them to exceed all expectations. All right, you look at what else they did. They brought Bobby Wagner back into the building. He's back on that Seattle defense, but they also brought in Devin Bush, who's looking for a career resurgence after disappointing for the last few years in Pittsburgh. Right. And then they go out, they get Julian Love and Jaron Reed, who were both notable additions to this defense. Right. So they made a nice little splash in free agency, and then they go into the draft where they have 2 picks in the first round. And with those picks, the first pick they had was pick number 5. They drafted Devin Witherspoon, cornerback, and he's somebody that I think is going to be really good in the NFL. Right. And they drafted 2 really good young corners last year in Tariq Woolen and Kobe Bryant, who it looks like they're going to try to have him play at safety and moving him around. He's playing more of that role now that Devin Witherspoon is coming in. Now they also have Michael Jackson and Trey Brown at cornerback as depth pieces, but I think Devin Witherspoon, Tyreek Woolen as a starting corners is going to be a really good duo. Right. And then with the number 20 pick in the first round, they got JSN, Jackson Smith, and Jigba. This is one of my favorite players in the draft. I think this is exactly what they needed, right? You think about the holes on the defense. Sure, they have DK and they have Tyler Lockett, but now they have a guy that they can play primarily in the slot and that they can depend on in the slot, which is going to help a lot in the way that offenses run in today's NFL. The slot guy being able to get open and create space and have run after the catch basically separates the winners and the losers, right? Like, especially on a team that doesn't have Patrick Mahomes. Like, Geno Smith isn't Patrick Mahomes. So having a guy like JSN, who admittedly not the fastest guy, but he's an amazing route runner and he has great hands, right? And the ability to get open. You don't have to be the fastest guy, right? Devontae Adams has been getting open for years. He's not the fastest guy out there. So I really like JSN. He's not going to be there to start the year, but he'll be back soon enough. And again, I think he's really going to help that offense. That was a really good pick. I really enjoy both of their first round picks. Right, and then you go past the first round, go into the second round. They grabbed a defensive end and a running back both in the second round. And I like both of those picks too, right? Derek Hall is a good depth piece for this team, and Zach Charbonnet, for as good as Kenneth Walker is, Zach Charbonnet might end up being the best running back on this team. Like, I'm very high on Zach Charbonnet. I think his skill set and his versatility can translate very well to the NFL. And I think that Geno Smith is going to lean on him as a pass catching back. I think he'll be good in pass protection and he can be trusted that way. So there are a lot of things that I really like about Zach Charbonnet. So it's a really good pick in the second round. When you look at the last 2 drafts for the Seahawks, they've been fantastic. Like, a couple of my favorite drafts over the last couple of years have been from the Seahawks. And I think gathering all that talent through the draft is going to pay dividends when you look into the 2023 season for the Seahawks. Okay, so when you look at the schedule for the Seahawks, start going through it. They start the year with the Rams. I think, honestly, that's going to be a pretty easy game. I don't see them losing to the Rams in week 1. But then they get the Lions in week 2, and I think the Lions are going to be a really good football team this year. And honestly, I'm going to have to pick the Lions to win this game. All right, I think both these teams are going to be good. I think this is going to be a really entertaining game, actually. I wouldn't mind watching this game, and I'm probably going to try to watch this game. But at the end of the day, I think the Lions are really good, both offensively and defensively, and they're at home. I guess that was probably the deciding factor for me here is home field advantage. So go ahead, give me the Lions. Okay, but then moving on to week 3, the Seahawks get the Panthers. And at this point, Bryce Young, only a couple games in. The Seahawks defense is going to be getting after him. I expect the Seahawks to be able to win in week 3 against the Panthers, but then they go to New York. Well, East Rutherford, New Jersey, to play the Giants on Monday Night Football in week 4. And the Giants are another really good football team. And with this being prime time at home for the Giants, I went ahead, picked the Giants to win this game. I think they're a really good coach football team also. So go give me the Giants to win that game. Okay, and then the Seahawks go into the earliest bye week of the season at 2-2. Okay, week 5 bye week, and then they come out of the bye week. They get another really good football team, the Cincinnati Bengals. This one is in Cincinnati, so go ahead, give me Cincinnati to win. I just don't know if the Seahawks can, keep up with them. I think it can be a good game. I don't know if the Seahawks can beat the Bengals. Okay, but then you look at the next 4 games. Okay, at this point, Seahawks are 2-3, but the next 4 games are against the Cardinals, the Browns, the Ravens, and the Commanders. Okay, and 3 of these games are at home. The only one on the road is against the Ravens in Week 9. But the games against the Cardinals and the Browns, the Cardinals, they shouldn't have any issue with. It's probably the worst team in the NFL this year. And then Week 8 against the Browns, I'm not sure what the Browns are, but I know the Seahawks are going to be good. So I went ahead and picked the Seahawks for that one. Then Week 10 against Washington, I don't think the Seahawks will have any problems against Washington. Although Sam Howell does look like he's better than I might have originally thought. So this could end up being a good game. Either way, I think the Seahawks end up winning it. But Week 9 in Baltimore, the Ravens are a really good football team. I think they got better this offseason themselves. And this is another one where I'm giving it to the home team. The Seahawks have a lot of games on the road against really good football teams. That's what each of these road games has been. The Lions, the Giants, the Bengals, the Ravens, like all really good football teams, all probable playoff teams. So just tough sledding in that department. But after the Bengals, they do go on, a little streak where they win 3 out of 4. Okay, and then going into Week 11 against the Rams. The Rams, this one just came down to home field advantage for me in the way that division matchups normally work. Like a lot of times teams will split their season series. And just throwing it out there, these projections are all if all the players stay healthy. That's obviously not going to happen. Injuries happen in the NFL, but I could see this being a bit of a upset, I guess you could say, if everybody's healthy. Well, all the stars are healthy for the Rams. So go ahead and give me the Rams at home here. And then in Week 12, they play Thursday night football against the 49ers, and the 49ers are a very good football team. They also play the 49ers in Week 14. I have the 49ers winning both of those matchups. For everything I just said about, division matchups, they normally split them. The San Francisco 49ers are a really good football team. So I think they'll be able to win both of those matchups. But then sandwiched in between both those games is a game against the Cowboys. This also is a Thursday game. And this is also a road game. And I'm not sitting here looking at the exact date. I'm assuming this is a Thanksgiving game if they have back-to-back Thursday game. But I did give this one to the home team once again, going with the Cowboys, another really good football team. Okay, and then in Week 15, they draw the Eagles. This is another really good football team. This one is actually in Seattle, though. They actually play a good football team at home. But unfortunately, I do have them losing this game. I think the Eagles are the best team in the NFC and one of the best teams in the NFL. So it's going to be tough sledding for the Seahawks in that game. Okay, but then they finish the year with the Steelers and Cardinals. And again, not going to have any problems with the Cardinals. I do think that Steelers game could be a really good game, though. But at the end of the day, I'm taking the Seahawks to win that game at home against the Steelers. Even though I said the Seahawks got better in this offseason, and they definitely did, I have them finishing with the worst record. Okay, I have them finishing at 8-9 and the 9 seed in the NFC. And there are going to be people that hear that and aren't happy about it, but they have a tough schedule, man. They had a lot of really good teams. The Lions, the Giants, the Bengals, the Ravens. They obviously get the Niners twice. They get the Cowboys and the Eagles. Like a lot of really good football teams on here. Their strength of schedule in my projections ends up at 0.509. And any team that ends up with an over 500 strength of schedule, I mean, they're playing some really good teams and have a pretty difficult schedule. So, again, it's going to be tough sledding for the Seahawks. I wouldn't be surprised if they were able to pull out, another 2 games somewhere on this schedule. But in my projections, this is the way they end up is 8-9. And I'd love to know what you think of my projections and what do you think their projections will be. You let me know down in the comment section. And don't forget to subscribe with notifications on. Stay updated on division debates as we continue to pump this out. And as always, take care of yourself, take care of each other, and I'll see you for the next video.